Thank you, Council, for letting me speak. I'm here on the bicycle proposal. I'm a client from Blanchard Valley Center, and it's very hard for me to get around town. I do all my shopping uptown, grocery shopping, Rite Aid. There's a lot of clients that also ride their bikes uptown, and there's just no way possible they can ride in the middle of the street. Another one is I would like to see the statistics of an injury accident with a pedestrian and a bicyclist. And as far as I've seen, I haven't seen any. And I'd just like to see what you guys can come up with on that. But those are the two that all I had.
Any questions of Mr. Ramirez? Mr. Wobser.
Mr. Ramirez, thank you for coming tonight. Question for you. In the proposed legislation, we essentially take and divert the traffic onto the alleys, which are about a half a block off of Main Street to go north and south versus being on the sidewalk, or it essentially gives you an alternative route. Does that pose a problem for you, or would that be a workable solution to use those alleyways?
It can, but where I live right off of Sandusky Street.
Okay.
I live right there where Joey Fatello's is, and that alley is swamped all day long. And you got semis in and out. And it's very difficult to get down there at times.
Okay.
And but there's other alleys that are fine as can be. I mean, there's no problem. But the ones that are right up on Main Street is the ones that have the major issues with.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Russell.
Yeah, Paul, do you know, do we have statistics from Findlay PD on bicycle pedestrian accidents in downtown?
If it's reported, we have a record of it.
Okay. You know, I don't have, obviously by that question, I don't have those statistics right offhand. I could line up a lot of people that will give anecdotal evidence of near misses, and the channel, there's pretty much not a lot of doubt that bicycles ridden in high pedestrian areas it's just a matter of time before the accidents do happen. And so the challenge, as Mr. McClellan raised, is that how do we provide alternative paths? And that's one of the decisions we're facing. But I do appreciate you coming down, Mr. Ramirez. Thank you.
Ms. Frischi.
A question for Paul, since we're talking about the alleys and since we're repaving them, we're in the process of doing that right now to improve them. We're going to expect the bikes to follow the traffic direction flow as well, because he made a very valid point that they are high traffic with UPS and deliveries and so forth. To get around some of those trucks is not an easy thing. But would we expect the bikers to be following the traffic direction flow, or it's kind of a free-for-all? Because
I think that would be the expectation.
Yes, sir.
I believe Mr. Ramirez made a records request, and Mr. Smelzers stated that if there have been accidents, there's a record of it. I guess just for the record, who's going to follow up and answer that request of Mr. Ramirez that needs done?
What area are you looking for, sir?
Just trying to figure out how many people's ever been injured.
Over what area? From where to where?
Just from where the proposal is, where you guys are proposing for.
I'll have the report run over what kind of time frame?
Don't matter.
No matter?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to have to be more specific if you would.
probably over a 1 to 2 year. Is that what?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That
Yes.
gives you a good all season.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Mr. Ramirez, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Where restaurants have been allowed to set up tables and chairs out on the sidewalk. But maybe something can be done in the plans in the near future that would allow cyclists to be accommodated in other ways and allow them to stay off the sidewalk but still feel safe and welcome downtown.
Questions? Ms. Frishy?
Steve, thanks for coming. Couple questions since you're a big rider. Do you ride on the street now, and would you ride on Main Street is one question.
I personally do ride on the street, and I do ride on Main Street. But I feel...
You're talking families, I get that, because I'm with you on that.
Well, personally, I do that. When I'm with my family, I actually prefer to ride on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. The other question is, do you feel Corey Street is part of the downtown, and have you utilized that yet, and how does that work for more family riding?
I feel Corey Street is part of downtown, you know, in that area between, you know, say Lima Street to the south and the, you know, the river to the north. But there aren't a lot of businesses. It's not a destination. Corey Street is not a destination. It's more of a way to get to the downtown. Really, in my mind, the downtown is Main Street, and at most, you know, a block off on either side, with a couple of exceptions in the true core area of, say, Sandusky, Crawford.
I'm just thinking, and tell me if I'm wrong, Paul, but I think the TAP project, we're still going to implement bike racks and so forth. You would just have to walk up from Corey and not be physically riding for that section to get to your dining location.
You actually would need to take your bike more or less from the alley, not even Corey Street.
Well, if you're riding on Corey, to be a little less intense traffic.
If you use Corey Street to get north and south, let's say, and you're going to the bike shop, you can take your bike all the way down to the alley, and you essentially have to walk that half a block. And I should note that, and I have talked to a number of members of the Handlebars group that have given me some insight on this as well, because I'm not an avid biker, but we are doing what we can to accommodate pedestrians and vehicles and bicyclists, and I think that the improvements that we're doing, at least on the alley, will provide someone a much improved environment, and it would keep someone with a family at least from having to ride on Main Street. That to me doesn't seem like I'm open to suggestions always, but bicycling on Main Street, unless you know what you're doing, seems like a bad idea.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir, for your time.
Ordinance 2017-21 as amended. An ordinance amending section 373.11A2 and repealing section 373.13 of chapter 373 of the codified ordinances of the city of Findlay, Ohio.
Mr. Russell?
Move for adoption of ordinance 2017-021.
Second, Mr. Klein. Discussion? Ms. Frishy?
Grant, what is the exact change that was made? Is it just the Center Street to Lincoln with adding the alley in?
No, section 2 was added at the request of Tim and I, and that simply removes the requirement that every bicycle in town be inspected by the chief of police and then be given a sticker that, like a license plate sticker or something to that effect.
Mr. Wobser?
I wanted to throw out, is there any support from council to potentially move the northern border of this to the river?
There is from me.
Sure. Mr. Russell?
I have done a lot of research into this ordinance. I've examined the ordinances of many communities that I would consider to be bicycle friendly. I am challenged to find one that allows or encourages bicycle riding on sidewalks in downtown areas. It is quite simple. Bicycles and pedestrians do not mix. And one of the downtowns that I like to visit and I use kind of as a something that I think that would work well in Findlay is Fort Collins, Colorado, my former hometown. And one of the things that they mentioned that has been key to the success of their downtown revival is one that is their efforts put pedestrians first. And pedestrians are people is foot traffic. And the intent of everything that they do is towards ensuring that pedestrian safety is paramount. And that includes everything from lighting of alleys to dismount zones in downtowns. Having said that, I have had conversations with numerous people. Obviously, Mr. McClellan, a neighbor of mine whose autistic son rides a tricycle. A 21-year-old autistic son rides a tricycle from their South Main Street home to the library, and they go on sidewalks in downtown. Extensive conversations with her actually, and about how this would be a new challenge. Conversations with Eric McKee, owner of Muddy River, along with a lot of other citizens. And quite frankly, I think that eventually this is the right path to go. The current ordinance as written is simply doesn't make sense, and it encourages unsafe behavior. But in light of understanding where we should be drawing the northern boundary, in light of the TAP work that is going to be happening in downtown and really dramatically affecting our downtown, and also with the TAP going to be making Corey Street more bicycle friendly, I think that at this time it's best to table this, put some more consideration into the northern border. Give time for this conversation to continue to happen, give time for the alley work to continue to progress, and we should be shooting for the fall to implement this. And I would put that, I welcome more conversation. I do not want to stifle conversation with a motion to table, but eventually I will make a motion to table.
Mr. Mundy.
I tend to agree with Mr. Russell. We just asked a little bit ago if there's any reports or if we can get reports of pedestrian and bicycle accidents, and I'm sure they're available. We don't have them right here. I don't feel comfortable voting for this right now unless we know there is a problem. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'm not real interested in forcing bicyclists to be out riding in the lane of traffic with motorists, especially the elderly like me, or the young people, young kids. As a policeman, I've been to too many accidents where a bicycle and a car was involved, and the bicycle never wins. So I think this should be looked at a little stronger. And the third thing I would suggest is somewhere in this vast state, can we contact the Ohio Municipal League and see if there are any ordinances that talk about riding bicycles in the downtown areas? There may be some ordinances that may have something to do with people riding reckless. Maybe there's a definition of reckless that you can take enforcement action. But I'd like to get more information before I'm comfortable voting this either up or down. I'd like to get this other information, and I would agree with tabling until we do get that information.
Ms. Frishy.
I know we had a committee that we met with Paul with our street sidewalk and all that committee. And I just want to remind council in this whole process of where we're at, riding bikes on sidewalk is not something that is allowed. So we made the exception to allow bikes in downtown on the sidewalk back in the 80s, or stopped it back in the 80s. And the direction of where bikes are supposed to travel on the sidewalk currently is a little cuckoo. It doesn't quite make sense. Part two to that, I think we had enough on our plate trying to make a informed decision over the last 3 readings. It comes up amended today by Tim and Grant, and now Grant wants to table his amendment after he threw in this section that I've never heard of. And I think we've talked about it. I think we know that there's an issue with bikes and cars and people and bikes exiting businesses and so forth. And with the change in the downtown, making it more pedestrian friendly and putting outside dining on the sidewalk, which takes up space. It's a safety issue for all. But the TAP project also has the Corey Street bike path. I want to reiterate is there. We talked about the alleys tonight. I'm not in favor of this amended ordinance to make people license their bike and have them checked out.
That's what it is.
Oh, I thought he said he was adding it in. Oh, repealed. I apologize on that, Grant, because I did not see the last word of repealed. But I don't understand why we need to table it at this point. A lot of people want an answer. It doesn't make sense. 3 readings.
Mr. Mundy.
To Ms. Frishy's comments, don't you think it'd be wise to get further information, see if we do have a problem, rather than just deal with it right now? I'd like to get more information. Is there something wrong with that?
No, I'm just wondering why you haven't done it during the first 3 readings.
Well, I don't know.
That's all.
I don't know why it hasn't been done either, but because it hasn't been done, we
No,
don't
that's
do it?
fine.
Is that what you're
That's just-
saying?
No, we know there is an issue there. And like Grant said, a lot of the time it's near misses and not documented. I think Paul brought up in our committee that he's even had some near misses with some bikes exiting restaurants or storefronts on Main. I've seen a lot of near misses or people going at a higher rate of speed. And I just think we've had 3 readings and had a lot of discussion. That's all.
Mr. Russell.
I actually have done my research on this. I probably have spent 20 to 30 hours researching bicycle ordinances throughout Ohio and throughout the United States, looking at communities that are considered bicycle friendly and recognized as bicycle friendly. But my research also did bring me to 373.13 bicycle licenses, which is, then I discussed that with Tim Watson, who I know has an interest in this area, and that's why we recommended the removal. So to say that we're just doing our research now is incorrect. In addition, based on Robert's Rules of Orders, we can't have discussions on something until we have a motion on the table. We have a motion on the table to approve this. I made it, and I've also made the statement that I would like to have it tabled for reasons stated, that I think that there's not a huge hurry to do this, and there's more conversations to be had. So with that, I would make a motion that we table this ordinance.
Mr. Schindeldecker.
Can I, a little point of order? The ordinance that you had did not have the amendment to it that you were originally considering. You requested legislation be brought with the amendment, but I think procedurally you would need to vote on that amendment for the, Section B, the licensing, to see whether or not that gets approved to be part of it, and then if you want to table it.
Mr. Russell.
Sound fair?
I would move that ordinance 2017-021 be amended with Section 2 as presented tonight to repeal Section 373.13 of our Findlay ordinances.
Second. Mr. Watson. Do we need discussion? All those in favor of repeat or amending the motion say aye if your name is called. Those opposed, nay.
Mr. Klein?
Aye.
Mr. Monday?
Aye.
Mr. Niemeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Russell?
Aye.
Mr. Schindeldecker?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Wobser?
Aye.
Ms. Frishy?
Aye.
Mr. Harrington? Mr. Hellman?
Aye. The ordinance is amended. Mr. Wobser.
I would like to propose then that while we're doing amendments, that we amend Section 1, Item 2 to change the northern border to the river, Blanchard River.
Is there a second? Mr. Harrington?
Are you amending where it says Center Street?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clarification.
So,
Yes, Mr. Harrington. So go from
I'll second
Center
that.
Street, go to,
second, Mr. Klein. All right, any further discussion on that amendment? Mr. Russell.
Is the definition of the river the south side of the Main Street Bridge?
yes.
Are we all clear on that? All those in favor of the second amendment say, do we need to do, say aye after your name is called, those opposed nay.
Mr. Monday,
Aye.
Mr. Niemeyer,
Aye.
Mr. Russell,
Aye.
Mr. Schindeldecker,
Aye.
Mr. Watson,
Aye.
Mr. Wobser,
Aye.
Ms. Frishy,
Aye.
Mr. Harrington, Mr. Hellman,
Aye.
Mr. Klein,
Aye.
The second amendment is adopted. Mr. Russell.
I move that ordinance 2017-21 as amended be tabled.
Second, Mr. Harrington. Discussion?
And don't look at me. I'm quiet this time.
Mr. Wobser, did you want to say something? Okay. All those in favor of tabling ordinance 2017-21 say aye after your name is called. Those opposed, nay.
Mr. Niemeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Schindeldecker,
Aye.
Mr. Watson,
Aye.
Mr. Wobser,
Aye.
Ms. Frishy,
No.
Mr. Harrington, Mr. Hellman,
Aye.
Mr. Klein,
Aye.
and Mr. Monday.
Aye.
The ordinance is tabled. Hallelujah.